Good morning everyone, today we'll check out a brand new video from Josh Scorchel of the top 10 Ten Kirby Copy Abilities. Why is there a store? No idea. Now you're probably wondering, why am I skipping over the top 10 Kirby games? Because not everyone would have played all those games. But at least with the copy abilities, people would have experienced them in one way or another. Let's hop in.
We now arrive at easily the most iconic part of Kirby,
The copy abilities.
Ever since Adventure, these have been the defining feature of the franchise. Kirby's ability to, well, copy the abilities of his enemies has always made him stand out in both story and gameplay. How else would he have beaten Majin Buu? The rules are simple. How fun is it to use, and how effective is it? Because there are so many, I'm going to resort to a top 15 trick.
Oh,
Yay!
That's why it's a store. Well, starting off, we have number 15.
So let's start with the obligatory one-use ability. All these are basically just screen nukes or gimmicks that usually do something special and then immediately disappear. The latter are some of the worst abilities in the series. Like, honestly, what's the point of copy?
Why is there a copy ability?
Let's go with classic.
Yes. Crash. The definition of a screen
we're going
nuke.
Crash, everybody. What better to screen nuke anyone in the local vicinity than with the literal nuke ability? Push the button and Kirby causes a massive explosion that destroys everything around him and deals crazy damage to bosses. What it lacks in the utility that Paint, Chef, and Mike have, Crash makes up for by just being iconic and a sheer spectacle. With just one button press, everything dies.
Return to Dreamland.
They even give it one of Kirby's most extravagant hats ever. A crown containing a nuclear reactor befitting its monumental power. Crash has always remained the end-all, be-all
By the way, it is a bomb.
But in Forgotten Land, they decided to shake things up with the upgrade system. Crash now becomes Time Crash, which...
it becomes the Waldo, aka the Walled.
Crash becomes a time stop that trades its complete AoE destruction for letting Kirby just run into enemies and kill them instantly, increasing the length of the effect even further.
No, that is awesome.
Crash isn't higher because it's, well, pretty much a one-trick pony. It's very limited by the fact that you only get one shot, and its gameplay basically amounts to win instantly. But still, the novelty is there, and it's a very fun trick to pull out when you can.
Especially with the time ability. Well, we move from the time-stopping bomb of 15 to number 14. It's...
Remember how cool it is when you get to use the Beam super ability in Return to Dreamland? Don't you wish you could have that as a regular ability you could take anywhere? Plus a few more extra moves ahead to make it a more fleshed out ability? Thankfully, we get an edge to that in Planet Robobot with ESP. If you think Yo-Yo was tongue-in-cheek with this
I remember this one. It was actually even a favorite of mine.
References to Earthbound, ESP throws it right at your face. Seriously, the attacks are called PSI and PKs. Now we just need Home Run Kirby for a complete set. Channeling psychokinesis abilities, Kirby can teleport, create an electric field around himself, and, as mentioned, control his own projectiles. The electric orbs he swings around can also be charged to make stronger ones. Sure, it's nowhere near the level of Flare Beam, but trading a bit of power for general accessibility is still worth it. And to add sugar to the tea, it's one of the abilities that the Robobot can copy. The orbs are much bigger and more powerful this time, and you can even screen wipe with them. So at least some of Flare Beam's destructive power is still intact. Even Star Allies gave its own flavor with the addition of Geokinesis, lifting any stone users up in the air for some additional impact. Honestly, giving Kirby psychic powers in general is just a really cool idea.
Now that's
how you puts on a great show for it, I'd definitely like to see some more variants being done, like possession or mind control, perhaps. Taken seriously.
Well, we move from the power of the mind to number 13. It's...
Return to Dreamland's brand new port, appropriately titled Return to Dreamland Deluxe, brought with it upgraded aesthetics, new sub-games, and new copy abilities. Oh, and one of these.
I don't know, man. Evangelion's kind of a classic. You should give it a shot.
Now, what in tarnation is an Evangelion?
One Evangelion later.
Yes.
Once Kirby noms on an Omoroid robot, he sits up in a fancy Gundam helmet, complete with jetpacks and gauntlets. What's that? You say Kirby's enough of a death machine on his own, so giving him armor feels like overkill? Aw, look at this and ask yourself if this is the face of someone that cares.
Of course he doesn't care. He just wants cake.
Along with the fancy new hat and gloves, Kirby can use his new rockets like a jetpack, allowing him to hover and dash faster than before. These babies can also shoot fireballs, a charged beam attack, or even a
Look at
full-on...
that.
Or if he doesn't want to use his... right away,
Love it.
he can store it for later so he can unleash it with one push of a button. In addition, he can drop electrifying landmines, shock punch anyone who swings first, roast the enemy with fire, a marshmallow after my own heart,
Aw.
and even combine fire and electricity into one glorious swirling attack of death. However, all that pales in comparison to the biggest innovation the mecha ability grants Kirby.
Fingers.
Actual fingers!
These are too many fingers.
That is
Kirby
too
with
many
actual fingers
fingers.
feels wrong. This somehow makes it work. Considering we're not getting a return of the Robobot armor anytime soon, Mecha feels like the dream
That's
come
shame.
true substitute that breathes more life into the series' penchant for robots. With so many handy tools, a cool aesthetic, and fingers, it's great to watch Kirby embrace his inner Gundam geek once again.
Well, we move from the mecha to number 12, and it's...
Hey, you want to see Kirby do an air horn solo? Whoopsie, that wasn't his air horn.
Oh, yeah, there's an old video you can find online of, like, a poorly animated Squidward, or poorly drawn Squidward, talking to a SpongeBob before just pulling a gun and shooting him.
Ranger is one of the new abilities we get in Forgotten Land. The idea is simple. Give Kirby a gun.
And that's what they did.
Drop it. Yep, you just shoot your enemies on the spot and redirect your aim at will. You can even charge
And a
up yourself
gun.
for maximum damage. Well, I say maximum, but you can actually upgrade this ability even further. Noble
Oh,
Ranger
nice.
bumps up your firing rate by letting you shoot 2 bullets per shot. And the charge shot is traded with an excessive volley of rapid fire shots. But let's be honest, you know the real reason this ability is on here. Space Ranger! On top of Kirby getting the universe's most adorable space
So
helmet,
cute.
his projectiles become electrified, and he trades all that rapid firing for a charge shot that turns into this giant magnetic sphere. Not only is this
Be
attack great for
pulled
wiping out
into your
hordes
death.
of enemies, but it's also an excellent boss killer that chips them down in a huge radius. While Space Ranger is fun, getting there does take a while. Ranger has its caveats with not being that strong on its own and impairing your movement while attacking. While it's
Yeah,
still a
you-
fun ability,
You apparently can't run and gun with it.
it's still a little overshadowed until we get its upgrades, which is why it's not any higher. Personally, I think this
This
ability
makes
would get
sense.
so much more points if you could do more damage with headshots.
Oh, damn, in the Pulp Fiction.
Oh man, I shot
Leon Gar in the face.
Well, we move from the gun to number 11, and it's...
Here's a question for you. Do you like going fast?
Gotta go fast. Gotta go
Yes.
fast.
I must accelerate rapidly.
You know Sonic the Hedgehog?
Introducing Wheel Kirby. Wheel is pretty simple to understand. It go fast. Compared
Very
to other
fast.
copy abilities, Wheel's kit seems
This is actually one of my favorites in the older games, and I don't know why, other than the whole fast.
bare bones. It's really just turning into a wheel and speeding past enemies, but the simplicity is what makes it so special. Wheel is the fastest copy ability by far, and when it shows up, the levels end up being practically designed
Like a
around it.
definition
Using
of
Wheel
speed.
in these areas feels exhilarating. Kirby essentially becomes a high-speed ball of destruction that slows down for no obstacle or enemy, and in Squeak Squad, it can even gain the ability to run over lava, setting it
now
on
that is
fire and
nice.
becoming even more destructive. It basically transforms Kirby into
Talk about burning rubber.
Sonic. You know what? Yeah, that's a great comparison. You're playing a Sonic game and a Kirby game when you equip Wheel. Oh, and a Superstar, you don't even need the ability itself to use it. Just get the partner wheelie, hop on, and Kirby tries it like
And
a
boom.
bike. No
That was
other
it.
partner has a unique interaction like that. What keeps Wheel low is that, honestly, it's only as fun as the levels you use it in.
Unfortunately,
Long open spaces,
yes.
Sure, Wheel's a blast to use. But cramped areas or levels that need more precision platforming, you're gonna find that Wheel is harder to use
Yeah.
well. Oh, and against bosses,
We're gonna end up losing it over, and over, and over again.
yeah, Wheel ain't exactly built for that. Especially if they like hanging out in the air. You're a bike, not a plane. Still, for what it is, Wheel's more than unique enough to stand out.
Not Jet.
Heck, Air Ride was practically made for it. What other copy abilities can boast about having a whole game made for them?
Well, we move from the Speed Demon to number 10, and it's...
During Kirby's early heydays, copy abilities weren't all too complex. Most
Yeah,
attacks
fairly
only
simple.
did one thing, and unless they have some kind of elemental or terrain utility, they feel completely replaceable. Hence,
Mhm.
Spark didn't really start off as anything special. Just a slow, tiny force field that really didn't do much. Sure, we do get some
Very
good variants
weak,
of it,
kind
with
of.
the Animal Friends in Dreamland 3. Nago, Pitch, and Coup arguably have the best ones. Still, those are limited to that game's specific
Lightning
mechanics
ball.
and didn't carry over as a mainstay for the ability as a whole. However, Superstar is where abilities start to get whole complex movesets to themselves, and with
Became
it
unique.
comes Plasma.
Ooh.
Rather than functioning as a simple force
Okay.
field ability, it gives you the power to charge up a ranged projectile that turns into a temporary barrier that surrounds you while you move. Once you
Plasma
shoot the
bolt.
projectile, it goes through multiple enemies and does really good damage. It's an
Damn!
excellent version of the Spark
That
that we
chicken's just
definitely want to
gone.
see more of. Lucky for us, Return to Dreamland exists. Spark and Plasma are now one ability, and we're getting mileage out of the
Awesome.
lightning element that comes with it. Heck, it's arguably even stronger now, considering how much it dominates boss arenas. It's fast, flexible, and fun! Just as a lightning
It's
ability
constantly
should be.
fire.
We can be glad it's gonna stay that way going
Well,
forward.
firing. Well, we move from the Plasma and Spark to number 9, and it's...
Anyone else sometimes wish Kirby was less, ooh, pretty colors, and more, I'm pretty stabby, stab, kill, kill. No one?
What?
Just me? Okay. The Spear ability was first
Oh,
introduced
yes,
in Return
Spear.
to Dreamland. With this long-ranged weapon at your disposal, you could jab at your foe.
One reason why I like Spear is because it's one of the only copy abilities that you can use underwater.
From up and down, left and right, here, there, and everywhere. Oh, and did I happen to mention Spear Copter? Oh yeah, Kirby can
Oh,
actually twirl his
awesome.
spear above his head and fly into the air for a few seconds, doing damage to anything it comes into contact with. Oh, you can also use the spear
Does that Spear Copter go swiss, 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 swiss?
underwater. That's cool, I guess. Probably just a technicality is that Bandana D is usable that way. The spear ability will make its
Second.
appearance in Kirby Triple Deluxe, and absolutely nothing changed about it. So let's instead talk about its appearance in Kirby Battle Royale. Did
Battle
the spear
Royale?
ability improve here? Short answer, yes. Long answer, Gale Thrust! 340 bolts
Oh,
of
wow.
damage! Now that is some serious stabby.
What the?
Serious? Seriously? Anyways, spear is
okay.
pretty straightforward, but honestly, who doesn't like a good old-fashioned spear to turn your enemies into shish kebab? Anyone else who can use spears in real life the same way Kirby uses them? Next time your car breaks down, just spin your spear around, you won't be late for work. STEM researchers,
How'd you
get
do
on
that?
this!
Well, we move from the old-fashioned Spear to number 8, and it's...
As abilities are practically bread and butter to the standard Kirby game, it's only fair that we would have rare exclusive ones that stick out like a Dratini in the Safari Zone. Okay, maybe not that rare, but how often
yeah.
are you gonna find a UFO? This elusive power-up
Like maybe
turns you into
3
a tiny
times?
flying vessel that shoots a variety of beam attacks, lasers, and charge shots. As its claims to fame are
Nice.
Adventure, Nightmare in Dreamland, and Amazing Mirror.
I'm sorry, but in this game here in the middle, when he's charging it up, it looks like Kirby just pulls a gun out and is charging that.
It definitely sticks out as one of the few abilities in those games with a varied moveset. In Squeak Squad, you even get an upgrade with a spark orbiting around you at all times. UFO wouldn't return as a standard ability for a while, up until Planet Robobot. Here, it becomes unlockable for 100%ing a save file or via Amiibo. And it comes with an upgraded moveset that includes
Good
super
enough.
speed and abduction. On top of
Oh,
all that,
no.
it's just a cool ability
Wallaby,
in
protect
general.
your butt.
You really feel invincible when you fly around with this thing. And considering how far you have to go to find one, getting it feels all the more special. Of course, all good things must come to an end. The games can't let you
shame.
keep this ability all willy-nilly, so you get downsides like not being able to go down the stairs, which forces you to drop the ability to move forward. Of course, you don't need to deal with that in Robobot, fortunately, if only the ability is locked behind annoying padlocks. And I guess it
Damn.
wouldn't be as special if you could just get it handed to us like candy, so I'll take what I can get.
He is unfortunately right. So we move from the Master of Space to number 7, it's...
At times, the arrow is mightier
the
than the
Archer.
sword. Being able to snipe your enemies with a well-aimed shot feels almost as satisfying as getting up close and personal with a sword. What's better image than the cute bright pink blob flying about, shooting arrows and warming our hearts? That's right, we're talking about Archer.
Now this power is actually a little overpowered because
Kirby looks
of
adorable
one
as
thing.
Cupid, and getting to shoot arrows from above is fun and all, but I like how Archer handles the concept just a little more. For one thing, you're not stuck in the sky anymore. You can move freely on the ground at your normal speed, gearing up for long-ranged and short-ranged attacks. You can angle your shots, fire multiple projectiles at once, and if you hold the button down long enough, your arrow slices through your
Heals.
target with pinpoint accuracy. No need to stand and deliver when you got an arrow as sharp as any blade. Heck,
Oh.
you can even use the arrow like a blade without even shooting it. But undeniably, the archer's handiest ability,
Camouflage. Literally protects you from all damage.
camouflage. Kirby can whip out a cardboard disguise to hide behind and becomes invincible. But he can still move and attack like normal. It's insane how good this ability is for sweeping through the arena because of this one feature. Take that, Stone.
So much
Feels like
power.
what Cupid got right. Archer did better by adding a lot more versatility and bonus functions. Plus, come on. Don't tell me you don't find the idea of Kirby hiding like a cartoon character kind of cute. You know, before he snipes his foes from the shadow.
Oh god, that's gotta hurt. Well, we move from the Master of the Bow to number 6. It's
Kirby 64's selling point was the ability to combine copy abilities.
Oh,
Every
yes,
single
crystal
ability,
shards.
including duplicates, had a unique combination with each other. This allowed for tons of experimentation
sword.
and discovery. Choosing from the 28 different abilities was not an easy task. So instead, we're just gonna rank them all.
Oh, well, hold on. Looks like we're going to get a micro top, I guess, 28 or whatever, inside a top 15 video. Ooh, okay. Let's go.
Did anyone use this more than
Fire
once?
and ice.
It was useful one time.
Fire and spark.
That's about it. There's a safety
Stone and
helmet?
bomb.
Wish I knew that earlier. Stand right there.
Needle and spark.
Right there. Yeah. Stand right
Needle and cuddle.
there. But bigger. Essentially the same slow walk,
Stone plus bomb and snow plus bomb.
one-hit explosion. 25% of the time, actively
Stone
broken.
plus cuddle.
The other,
At least it's aimable.
Fire and
slow
stone.
moving and
Needle
tiny
and bomb.
projectiles. No thanks. Aiming is a bit
Fire
rough,
and
but it makes me
needle.
laugh. Useful.
Needle plus needle.
Not very fun. Too much
Bomb
spread.
plus bomb.
Cutter looked weird
Cuddle
in
plus
this
cuddle.
game. Invincibility,
Stone
but
plus stone.
was it the proto-metal ability? Burning Phoenix.
Fire plus fire.
It's a bit of a commitment. Impossible to control.
Stone plus
Again,
spark.
dang, it is fun. Kirby pierced the heavens before it
Stone
was
plus
cool.
needle.
Kirby,
Ice plus
the
ice.
snowman, he killed all things in his way. It's not
Stone plus
a hockey
ice.
puck. Bayonetta wasn't the first
Ice
lethal
plus
ice
cuddle.
skater. Really busted
Spark plus
and
spark.
kind of cool. This came out 6 months
Spark plus
after
cuddle.
Phantom Menace. Coincidence? Gorgeous
Ice plus needle.
invincibility. Ninjas and
Bomb
explosions.
plus cuddle.
A winning combination. Eviscerates
Fire plus
bosses
cuddle.
and it looks awesome. Floor ice cream gives you
Ice
health.
plus spark. Fire plus bomb. That video has been recommended to me. Well, we move from the 28 of 64 to number 5. It's
Here comes a new challenger!
oh, Fighter Copy.
Oops.
When the Ego Raptor?
Kirby's already an adorable weapon of mass destruction, even without raising his fists. Stubs.
Nubs.
But when he puts on his
Whatever.
Lucky Ryu headband, he becomes a fine-tuned killing machine sent on a warpath of mass proportions. And it is
Oh.
glorious. The fighter ability unlocks hidden knowledge of martial arts within the young Kirby. Able to punch, kick, uppercut, leg sweep, and even the almighty Vulcan jab, where he unleashes
Whatcha?
a flurry of swift, devastating punches delivered anime style. And just to round out all the Street Fighter references, they secretly gave Kirby his own. It even has its own command input and
Also, I always saw it kind of more as a Kamehameha.
gets even deadlier when you hold it down. Why do I get the feeling Kirby auditioned to be in Street Fighter once but got turned away for being overqualified and now this is his revenge? Now,
I
Kirby's
can
had
see
more
that.
than his fair share of combat-based copy abilities. Ninja, backdrop, suplex, throw, and the like. So what makes fighters stand out above the rest? The answer? Variety. This ability
Oh,
offers
yeah.
so many different
It does have a
styles of
variety of
combat that it
moves.
feels like a mixture of its predecessors blended in near perfect harmony. Depending on the game, some of them change drastically based on how hard you hold the button. That alone
Wait,
makes
what?
Fighter one of the more complex copy abilities to master. But once you get the hang of it, the fluid controlling an onslaught of combinations at your fingertips is just mwah.
Well, we move from the fighting of number 5 to number 4, and it's
So, recall what I said about Wheel and how it felt limited
oh damn! I should have said a 5-finger death punch.
by only
Damn it.
being for speeding through
Didn't think of
levels and
that.
not really being fun for combat or platforming. Yeah, what if they just fix that issue?
Ah, tornado.
Introducing Tornado, ability that's, in a word, broken. Real-life tornadoes are already dangerous natural disasters as they are. Kirby harnessing these demons is a recipe for untold destruction.
Oh, I
Using Tornado
bet.
turns Kirby to a whirling typhoon that's fast, travels upwards, and sucks in any foe unlucky enough to be around him into the vortex.
Yes.
It's fast, deadly, and surprisingly controllable for what it is. But Tornado
Really now?
really shines against bosses. Tornado can not only fly to hit airborne enemies, but using it grants Kirby invincibility frames for pretty much the entire duration. And with careful timing, you can basically have it up forever if you want. Absurd doesn't even begin to describe Tornado. Flash forward to Forgotten Land, and they did nerf it, yes. We could also upgrade it to Storm Tornado. This makes the storm even larger and causes Kirby to spread lightning everywhere. With this, nothing is safe from you. Sure, Tornado lacks a lot of depth compared to more complex and nuanced abilities, but honestly, who needs it? Tornado is destruction incarnate and one of the most powerful abilities going.
Oh, face Mother Nature. There you go.
Utility? Screw that noise. Just storm your way through the game as the natural disaster Kirby was always meant to be.
Well, we move from the master of nature to number 3. It's...
Kirby has mastered fire, earth, ice, lightning, and wind. Fairly standard elements that you'd typically expected to wield right off the bat. So the question I, and most people probably also have, is why did it take so long for water to become an ability? Yeah, I know water is an essential obstacle in Kirby games, so it'll be weird for him to just have it as an ability. But come on, even the anime caved in and gave him one, which even then took until a fan contest for the season finale to happen.
Really
On the bright side, once we do get in Return to Dreamland, it's everything we could ever ask for. Gorgeous design, projectiles, geysers, fountains, and even surfing on both lakes and land. You can even make tidal waves to maul enemies on your way, which also keeps Kirby invulnerable.
There's also a bonus to where you can use it to cross over lava blocks and, well, cool them down. To where if you touch them, you don't immediately burn the
for a short while. And boy, is that good to have. It even has excellent utility against fire hazards, which
see?
Ice has too, but this ability is way more fun to use, especially considering how much more flexible it is. Unfortunately, as good as it may be, water still doesn't make that many appearances across the series. The only other one it has is Star Allies, where it did become an essential element to combine with the other weapon wielders. Now, Robobot does have a substitute in the form of Poison. It has a lot of the same moveset that Water has, but trading general mobility for a wider kit, such as toxic sludges and lingering poisonous gas. It's definitely more combat-oriented, but still flexible enough to be part of the same coin as Water. So, what the heck? We'll give them both a spot here. Honestly, these abilities have a ton of potential to go even further beyond as some of the best abilities in the series. I feel like expanding how they work underwater would definitely help. Instead of just a boost to your water gun attack, imagine getting a new moveset with whirlpools and currents. Poison can even leave a trail across the water that damages enemies as Kirby moves around. Yeah, you can say, oh, but that's just advocating pollution. But if we can get away with excessive deforestation since the beginning of the series, I don't know what counts as morally just and true.
Been attacking the exact same tree for the last 30 years or more.
Dreamland anymore.
Well, we move from the water and poison to number 2, and the silver medal is...
I feel like there's an obvious ability that is yet to be mentioned. It has a prolific reputation in the Kirby fan base as one you shouldn't sleep on. One that lays people to rest. One that uses a very famous pointy hat.
Huh? Wait. Ah, there it is. Ha! Sword Kirby.
Oh, that doesn't get old. Sword is easily Kirby's most famous copy ability. Sure, that green cap implies Kirby swallowed Link at some point, but it's so much more than that. Okay, maybe not by much. A lot of the abilities Kirby gets from Sword over the years do pay homage to Zelda, like the Sword Beams from the Master Sword. But it's gotten to the point where Kirby made it his own. Got the Elemental Swords in Squeak Squad, the Master Sword and Amazing Mirror, and you saw how high I ranked the swords in Crystal Shards.
Yes.
Plus, it's got some of the coolest moments of both the anime and with fights against Meta Knight. Gosh, I love that Sword Clash and Forgotten Lands fight. Speaking of Forgo's Land, the upgrades we get are so good. While the Gigant's sword is pretty slow, Meta Knight's sword just makes the whole game into a hack and slash. And of course, we can't forget Morpho Knight's sword, which just breaks the game harder than Quick in Final Fantasy VI. Sword feels like the default Kirby ability. great in close range, has some mid-range, and plenty of iterations and variants throughout future games. It's the Shoto of Kirby Copy Abilities.
It's
excluding
always
Fighter,
good.
which is literally based off fighting game Shotos. Sword is the whole package, but, you know, it can be a bit basic. And it might be up this high because of Fire Sword alone. Shut up,
Oh, yeah,
you're
no
predictable.
doubt.
You want to talk about predictable, though? Because you guys won't believe what number 1 is. Actually, you would, because you all know me, probably saw me streaming Forgotten Land, and could probably guess it by now.
What, is it gonna be like Hamel? But first we have the honorable mentions.
Ice.
Oh,
Kirby
yeah.
with staying power and the power
Oh,
to make
ice.
enemies stay.
Okay.
Beam. Make fun of his hat and you get blasted, son.
Classic.
Leaf. Kirby used Razor Leaf. It's super effective against ropes. Smash.
Okay.
Says a lot when his moveset in another game is memorable enough to get its own copy ability. Sand.
Nice.
Anakin Skywalker is rolling in his grave how good this ability is. So just
He always hates sand. It gets everywhere and everything.
inhaling his enemies wasn't horrifying enough. Now he gets the option to boil them alive too. Jelly. He upgraded
Ooh.
from a marshmallow to a phase-through gelatin. Needle.
Huh, okay. Oh, wow, he can go full Katamari Damacy. Nice. And now we move on to the golden metal. It's...
You know, at first glance, it's hard to grasp why King DDD relies so heavily on a big old sledge. But then you get one of your own.
Oh,
and
it is
suddenly,
Hamel. Okay.
It's all so clear. The weight of the instrument, the sheer power you feel with every swing, the exhilaration.
There's actually an old saying that goes well with this ability, and it's, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
And when you bonk your foe, it's just
Hammer time.
booyah! Among the very first copy
God,
abilities
that's
since
awesome.
the concept debuted in Kirby's Adventure, Hammer has been one of the most consistently used throughout the franchise. Many will argue that Sword basically does what Hammer can with more range and speed, but when
Yeah.
it lacks in either, Hammer makes up for it in unbridled power. Kirby swings
Oh,
this
boy.
huge mallet with as much strength as he can show in those tiny nubs. Even before charging it, the hammer is a
Power swing.
beast at
Power
damaging
swing.
foes. But when it is charged, from the wind up to the
Owl.
pitch, that is so satisfying from beginning to end. It's no wonder that some players prefer taking this beauty to boss fights. It decimates them like it's nothing. It kind of feels unfair to even wield it, but it's a rarer ability, so you gotta take advantage of it when you can.
It
In
is
later
pretty
games,
damn
it can even
strong.
be empowered by the elements or evolve into newer forms. Masked DDD's hammer gives you a taste of the Penguin King's wrath in your hands, and Toy Hammer is widely regarded as the best ability in Forgotten Land with its optimal speed and damage output. No matter what shape or size,
okay.
the hammer's become an iconic staple of the franchise, much like the copy ability function itself. And seeing a
I guess
Kirby
he's
game
right.
without either just doesn't feel the same. That alone proves its staying power.
Huh? Oh,
He's the
son of
fiery
a...
Joker, and tune in next time as we overanalyze the residents of Dreamland.
Just once, I would like you to enter like a normal person.
Alright everyone, well that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.